UFOs crashed at Roswell, and Matt Brazel, the rancher, came into town and described the wreckage. And he said that he had foiled paper, sticks, tape, and rubber. And you can read this yourself in the Roswell Daily Record newspaper. And this is before the government got to him and made him lie and covered up and had a conspiracy. No, this is the rancher came into town and he had this debris. And you can read it for yourself. Does it sound to anybody here like an extraterrestrial craft? Rubber, sticks, tape, foiled paper? No, it sounds more like parts of a balloon and maybe a box kite. Well, there was just such a thing in the skies, or was. Here is the actual wreckage. This is the actual Roswell wreckage. Now the conspiracy theorists say, no, it's been substituted as part of the cover-up. And the real wreckage, of course, is hidden in Area 51 or Wright-Patterson in Hangar 18 or something. And the awful truth is being kept from us. But no, I'm telling you, this matches exactly, you see, with what Matt Brazel describes. We have corroborative evidence. And the government said it was a weather balloon. Now, I have to tell you, that wasn't true. It wasn't. Would you like to know what it was? It was a secret United States government Project Mogul spy balloon. Now that I've told you, I'll have to kill you. It will be sealed. And I have personally talked to Charlie Moore from Project Mogul, which thankfully has been declassified. We can talk about it now. In the days before satellites, they used these balloon trains, and they sent them up with instruments. They looked like weather balloons, so the people who said it was a weather balloon probably didn't know what it was. You'd have to actually look at the instrumentation, you see, to know what it was. They all look alike. They're sending them up for research. Mogul was trying to pick up the sonic booms from Soviet nuclear tests. It did not work very well, and they lost one of their balloon trains in the direction of the Brazel Range. Again, I have talked to Charlie Moore about this, and Charlie Moore has identified this wreckage as being almost certainly from his missing Project Mogul. I find this very credible. So credible, we made one for Discovery Channel for their Best Evidence series. And this is, I'm not in that group because I'm taking the picture. But we put it up with these dangling corner radar reflectors, the box kite type things, so that the radar would pick them up. And we had a rifleman shoot it down. This is TV, folks. You go for the drama. And it was great fun to show how this debris would scatter and so on. Well, but how do you explain, Mr. Skeptic, I'm asked, how do you explain actual autopsy film? Well, does everybody here remember the famous alien autopsy? And we now know that was a fake. And I knew it was a fake early because I knew that this type of humanoid was not in the popular consciousness at the time of the Roswell incident in 1947, but it comes along later, as I'll show you. People wake up and see this image because it's part of the official image now of what aliens look like, the little big-eyed, big-headed humanoid. And here's my take on it. This is my famous alien timeline, which has appeared in many magazines, books, and television shows. But you can see that we start with little green men, and we have Venusian creatures, and Flatwoods Monster, and hairy dwarfs, and goblins, and who knows what all, robotic figures and blobs. And then in 1961, with the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case, we get the first little big-eyed, big-headed humanoid. And that character, who's a humanoid version of us, you see. Here's Bigfoot's our stupid cousin from the past. E.T. is a futuristic version of us. Here we are on this lonely little endangered planet with these powerful mythologies of our past and our future. You see how this works out? It's fascinating. fascinating. We create these images in our image. So a futuristic version of us has come back in time, as it were, to help save us. Isn't that nice? I think it's a nice idea. But it may only be in our minds. Anyway, they come, eventually that model comes back and back until we see it. It's ubiquitous. We see it in toy stores, and it's now the official image. But it's all made up. There is no extraterrestrial. In fact, wouldn't it be, what a coincidence that some other distant planet with a totally different evolutionary system would produce a creature that looked like a futuristic version of us? How logical does that strike you? Well, it turns out that this picture is absolutely authentic. Of course, you couldn't fake a picture like this. This is what the aliens actually look like when you go visit them on their home planet. Another alien-related thing that I spend a lot of time with is crop circles. We looked at 4 different characteristics of crop circles. We found that because if you examine this blade of wheat or that under the microscope, which a lot of people are doing, it tells you nothing. There's nothing. So it occurred to me to look at the phenomenon of crop circles. In other words, if you can't see the forest for the trees, that old adage. Maybe you can't see the trees for the leaves. You can get too close to something. Step back. Step back. So we looked at the crop circle phenomenon. We found 4 criteria. Crop circle started out as simple swirled circles. Here I am doing field research, by the way. Sometimes gets a better laugh. Then PhD man outstanding in his field. Okay, well, I'll get to that. We'll go back to that. They started as simple swirl circles. In circles with rings with satellites, much more complex pictographic forms, and so forth. Each season was a kind of one-upmanship. We found that crop circles were increasing in number each year as in rough correlation to media reports. First, a few crop circles, some media reports, more crop circles, more media reports, and so on, a bandwagon effect. So, increase in number, increase in complexity. What we call the shyness factor, that crop circles didn't like to be seen being made. They were in remote fields, away from the farmer's house at night, is when they showed up. And furthermore, they were showing up mostly in Wessex and certain other areas of southern England. They only showed up in other places. I know what you're thinking. They showed up in Canada, California now, Japan. So no, only after they got on television and became widespread in the media, then they started clearly a copycat effect. We were just ready to go to press when we found out what might be, and we were of course saying this all adds up to a copycat effect. This is like graffiti. You go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning, and the side of a building's painted. Must be some great conspiracy. No, it's just graffiti artists. That's what they do. Or they could go out and make crop circles. Some of them are quite ornate. But I assure you, if you haven't made one, I assure you it's easier than you think. If you can take a drawing compass and a straight edge on a piece of paper and draw a geometric design, which we all did in geometry class, you can do it on the field with a large piece of rope, and a little care and some hard work. You can do it. It's not hard. And there are now groups and contests making crop circles. There's no question people make elaborate ones. This is my favorite. It's my personal favorite. This one I know to be a fake because, well, this motley crew made it. That's me. Well, we were just ready to go to press, and two guys came forward saying that they had started the whole thing. And they fooled the so-called experts that were claiming these were real crop circles that couldn't be faked by humans. They actually made one for